There are a few different kinds of people during this quarantine. Those who have had access to loads of equipment or mastered the ability to apply progressive overload at home while their cultivated discipline drove them to become bigger, stronger, and faster than they've ever been. They wake up early, schedule their workouts in advance, hit their workouts with purpose and intensity, and are faithful to their program. And then there's you, who probably treated their time away from the gym as a 6 times longer than expected deload, doing a few bodyweight workouts here and there solely to keep that voice in the back of their head quiet. More than likely, you fall somewhere in between. If there's anything I've learned during this quarantine when it comes to training, is that there's a stark difference between the days when you're feeling on.
All right, let's go. Let's go, Ollie. 1. Let's go. 2. Come on, baby. 2.
And the ones where everything feels off. It used to be when you had an off day, you'd still end up at the gym. Find some motivation by being surrounded by others chasing their goals, so even if your workout wasn't the best, you still got it in. A quarantined off day is much different. Unfortunately, there isn't a great way to cultivate motivation because you're trying to convince yourself that you can find the same feeling the gym gives you in your living room. Whether you slid back a bit or fell off the wagon, it's important to remember that whether you're on the wagon or not, you're still on the road. Now let's get into how to transition from walking alongside to driving that wagon again. Let's talk about intensity first. While I'm not sure when the gyms around you are going to be open, or if you're going to even feel safe once they do, there is going to be a point where you step into the gym for the first time. The first thing I'm going to want to do is head right over to the deadlift platform and start loading up some 45-pound plates. For you, it might be benching, squatting, lunging if you're a freak, etc. Nonetheless, you're going to want to go really heavy. I advise you to muster up enough discipline to realize that your body isn't acclimated to lifting as heavy as you were 2 to 3 months ago. That means that going crazy during your first few sessions back has a much higher chance of leading you to injury. Instead, spend your first 2 weeks working back up to the weights that you're used to hitting, which brings us to volume. The body is pretty resilient and can acclimate back to previous strength levels pretty quickly. If your goal is to get lifting heavy again as quickly as possible, you're going to want to spend the first 2 weeks hitting slightly higher reps with a decently lower weight. An example might be, instead of hopping right back into doubles at 80%, you work at a 5x5 at 60%. You're going to want to leave your first few sessions with plenty left in the tank. If your goals aren't focused solely on lifting heavy, for your first week back, I'd recommend going 2 to 3 days for that week and perform full body workouts. For those workouts, I'd pick 5 to 6 exercises, do 2 to 3 sets per exercise, and 6 to 12 reps per set. Doing so will give your nervous system plenty of incentives to acclimate back to your standard progressive overload protocol. Once your body is reacclimated, you'll be in the clear to start hitting the gym harder than ever. You should use this time to break a few bad training habits, but I'll save those for another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.